Okay. So thank you so much, Dean Uzo, for this time, where we can just have a conversation around some issues or topics that I know are close to your heart and that are just an area of interest for us as the Anzisha Prize. So I will just start by asking you to please introduce yourself and tell us a bit about the work that you do with parents.
Okay. Thank you, Nanisme, and thank you for having me share a few of my 2 cents. My name is Uzo Agyare-Kumi. I am a mother of 2. I work here at ALA as the Dean for Global Programs, but I have a special and I suppose most cherished opportunity to also serve as chair for the African Leadership Dejen Parents Association. And the association was really established to really try and raise awareness for parents of about ALA's mission and to find opportunities for them to be also engaged and involved in fulfilling that mission. So yes, we do have our children who we want the best for them, but we can also share in a vision that seeks to develop the next generation of African leaders. And so the association is really an opportunity for parents to understand ALA's mission and the activities and to engage in them. But also the opportunity for parents to begin to build a network of influencers in their own right towards supporting that mission. Yeah, that's actually it. Yes.
Okay, thank you. I think it's so important for parents to have that kind of space, that kind of community where really they can rely on each other because they're on these journeys with their children. And this is the work that you're doing is one of the things that motivated us as the Anzisha Prize to create a community specifically for parents, just to explore or to better understand our work, but also explore what it means to um, support their children should they choose to pursue entrepreneurship, but also demystify entrepreneurship as a concept and as a practice. And so I thought we could use this time just to unpack some of that. And, I'm, it's parents want to hear from other parents. And so I thank you also for
Yes.
drawing from any
Yes.
of your experiences in sharing your responses. So my first question is, what concerns you about the future of work as a parent?
I'm not sure I have any more concerns now. And I think the reason I don't have those concerns like I did in the past was because I understand a lot more about what entrepreneurship is and what entrepreneurial ship is. I think in the past, I grew up as with parents whose main focus was to get you to school, and in going to school, then you got a job, and then based on that, you had a job. You were then, the opportunity to get everything else you needed was from that one job. Now, if you left that job, you went into another job. The intent for parents like mine was not for you to go into and go and be a business person or to be employed. It was more to actually go for a blue collar job that would provide you with the necessary opportunities to be able to access wealth and influence, etc. And I think over the many years, that is literally what has been perpetuated, time in and time out. But as we know, in this 21st century, the world of work is a lot different. Technology and, artificial intelligence have become more on the increase. We're seeing more of an aging population, and so people are living longer. And the world is changing. So the concerns that I had was, I don't think trying to just get a job is going to cut it for young people this time. Secondly, we found that they're more creative. So, like I said, I have two children. Both of them are creatives in their own ways. So they're not going to go into these traditional jobs of a doctor, lawyer, and engineer. And the concern for me when they were growing up was, now goodness, my daughter said she wanted to be a doctor. Now she wants to be a journalist. Goodness, what's going to happen with her?
Yeah.
My son has never deviated from his choice of profession, which is that he wants to be a writer of music and a singer of music. So for a very long time, I've kind of just realized that I don't have those friends in those sort of industries. And so it forced me to have to think a little bit more creatively as to, what is out there. And so being a part of ALA allowed me to better understand entrepreneurship and an entrepreneurial mindset a lot deeper. And my understanding of what I think all children should have and all young people should have is to be equipped with the ability to identify problems, recognize and understand what those problems are, and identify what the root causes are, such that when they are now designing solutions, they are designing solutions that are unique and sustainable to that problem. Now, that for me is an entrepreneurial mindset, and I think that is what a place like ALA equips its students. But I had to learn. I had the opportunity to learn that because I happen to be a member of staff. For parents, it's a totally different thing. You have kids who want to come out, or who come out, so to speak, from the traditional jobs that they have told their parents they want to be in year one, to the non-traditional jobs that they then choose to do whilst they're here at ALA. And the transition, I feel, for parents has been one shock, two, oh no, you won't. You are going to be the doctor that you said you're going to be, or you're going to be the engineer. And then the tussle between parent and child in terms of just defining what work should look like and what job satisfaction and what their passions and dreams should look like becomes a real issue. And so I think the biggest concern that I have for work is really us parents really taking the time to understand what the future of work would look like in the next 10 years. And that, it is very possible that we will have machines doing surgery and having doctors being, considered differently. So, the world is evolving. I think parents need to evolve. I think parents need to come together and understand a little bit more about entrepreneurship and entrepreneurial mindset, such that anxieties, are reduced greatly about whatever their child would like to do.
Oh, wow. Great. Thank you so much for sharing that. There's something you said that really stood out to me, which was just there's a way of thinking that needs to be embraced by not only, young people venturing out onto, in their job searches where they see that, okay, maybe I studied to be a doctor, but that's no longer an option for me. But also, for parents in terms of imagining what could be possible for their children in a world that doesn't look like one that they started working in. So what do you think are some things parents can do to help their children develop the kinds of skills? So, for instance, you mentioned an ability to identify problems and come up with creative solutions, sustainable solutions. As a parent, what are some tips you could share, for others to say, okay, to help your child start developing these skills?
I think that's the answer right there. I think parents need to understand um, the future of work and the world that we live in, and it's very different from the one that we grew up in. And so understanding the terrain that young people now have to to live in and work in is a lot different from what we were used to. And therefore you can't you can't really have a a significant conversation with your child if you don't understand the environment, if you don't understand what's going on as far as future of work. So I think parents need to be upskilled and have opportunities for conversations where they are able to air their views, to air their concerns, to air their anxieties in a way that enables them to be able to put them on the table, have conversations with other people, and then begin to think more about what they can do. And I think some of the things that, I believe parents forget is that, our children are going into this environment as job creators. One of the anxieties I had, like I said earlier, was just the thought that my children, because of the jobs that they were and occupations they were desiring into, I felt that, my anxiety was, will they be able to feed themselves? Will they be able to take care of themselves as a result of that? And being in a place like ALA and understanding what entrepreneurial mindset means, means that, your child is equipped with skills and tools and a mindset that allows them to create jobs.
Brilliant.
And not just for themselves, but also for others.
Yeah.
And so my anxiety dropped literally because I knew that I had two young people who were driven by their passion, which was a great thing, because I knew that no one has to drag them out of bed every day to go to the job because they're doing a job that they love. Secondly, they are they have the tools in them and the passion and the knowledge in which to be able to continue to iterate on their desires and on their plans and on the solutions that they're looking for. And three, they are so used to seeking feedback, so they are not scared about asking about, is this great enough? Is this good? Can I, can this happen?
Yeah.
And there's a whole network of friends they have that are not rooted in one place, and so even in terms of just defining who they are, they already have a network of within the continents that they can lean on for support, for advice, and anything. And I feel that is such a powerful opportunity for young people today that we perhaps weren't able to make as much use of when we were younger. When we were much younger, our world was a lot smaller. We were a lot more nationalistic in our view. The idea, the prime idea was, you do your have your education and then you fly out to the West to make it and to make your that's not the case any longer. Majority of our kids, are making decisions to go abroad, but it's a means to an end. It is not it's not the end in itself for them. And many of them are collecting, the opportunities and bringing them back to the continent. And that's the exciting piece for me. So I think parents need to create the opportunity, one, for learning, and we need to have these conversations regularly. We also need to have conversations with young people to really understand what it means to be a young person in the 21st century. And then we need people like yourselves, institutions like like Anzisha and ALA to be able to almost kind of paint what this looks like, and create opportunities for parents to practice entrepreneurial mindsets. So, what does that actually mean for a parent of who's 50 or has a business? Can we get our students, into remote internships, or can we get our students working in our parents' businesses and helping to sort of turn things around, or creating a different culture ethic within their parents' businesses. And so I think this is that would be the main starts and steps.
Yeah. I think what you're saying indicates that, there's an opportunity for parents to feel empowered in this space. Because I mean, just from the work we've done in the youth entrepreneurship ecosystem, there's a lot of focus on different stakeholders, such as the investors, the policymakers, and so on. And we're like, okay, but at the end of the day, you also have parents who can play all these different roles for the very young entrepreneur. Parent as the investor, as the educator, the mentor, and all these things. And so I definitely see, as you're saying, an opportunity for parents to step in or be recognized for that significant role that they play. Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't want us to get this wrong. I'm not asking that all parents, that all children will become entrepreneurs. I am saying that as a parent, we should equip our children with a mindset that seeks to be entrepreneurial.
Absolutely.
So if your child, whether they become a business person or an entrepreneur or not, if your child is equipped with the skills with which to identify problems as opportunities, then they are well on their way wherever they are, whether it's as a doctor, as an engineer, as a lawyer, or whatever, or even a data hacker, whatever it is, that they are clearly on their way to being, to acquiring that mindset.
Yeah, that's a great point to end on, Dr. Dean Uzo. Because I think there are many parents out there who, when they hear entrepreneur, they are either imagining the Dangotes, the Zuckerbergs, the billionaires, right? Or else thinking about someone who just struggles and isn't getting anywhere, which comes back to the earlier point you raised about just concerns around job security. Will my child be okay pursuing this path? And so it's great what you're saying, that it's really more about the mindset and the skills that they're demonstrating, no matter what pathway they choose. Great.
I would say it's a mindset, it's the skills and tools that they have, and then it's also the networks. If you have those three, you're on your way to become, either a great entrepreneur or to definitely have a very strong mindset to deliver on the continent and to deliver in the future of work.
Great. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Dean Uzo, for sharing your thoughts. It's it's always, I think, refreshing, as I said, to hear from others who are walking the walk, and especially hearing from a parent. So thank you so much for your time and for sharing your insights.
You're most welcome. Thank you for having me.
Okay.
Thank you, Nolisa.
All right. Bye-bye.